Tech by Tips.
Hello and welcome to another Tech by Tips video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about SearXNG, a powerful open source meta search engine that puts you back in control of your search privacy. If you ever wanted like Google level type of results, but you don't want to be tracked or profiled or advertised to, then this is a good application for you. So what exactly is SearXNG? It's pronounced SearXNG, and I believe NG means next generation. It is a self-hosted meta search engine, which means it doesn't have its own crawler or index. It relies on results from other popular search engines like Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or Wikipedia and a bunch of others. And then it merges all of those results into a single clean user interface. And why is it good? What's the best part about it? Well, SearXNG strips away any tracking scripts or ads or user profiling, so it gives you unbiased private search results every time you use it. And what are the benefits of this? Well, like I said, privacy first. It doesn't track your IP, it doesn't create user profiles, your queries are proxied, so the upstream search engines never know who is asking. It is customizable, so you can choose which search engines to include or use. You can enable and disable them, and you can also enable and disable specific categories like images or news or science and stuff like that. It is open source, so the code is not hidden. You can see it on GitHub. There's no corporate influence, and SearXNG is developed by a global community of private enthusiasts. It's easy to deploy because it's thought of as something to be used with Docker. The maintainers provide an official Docker container, so you can spin it up on your own in a breeze, honestly. So it's perfect for you if you have a home lab, or you have private networks, or if you want to have a small community using it. And since you run it, you decide if logs are handled, or what do you do if you want to log or not, and which search engines are going to be used, and whether you want to make it public to other people or just keep it internal. So search cases that we have for this is you can have it as a personal search engine or like a company knowledge portal. So that's if you connect it to documentation wikis and stuff like that. And also if you connect it to Tor or another privacy networks, it integrates well with anonymity tools. So it makes it popular for journalists, researchers, and people that are advocates of privacy. So deployment is pretty straightforward. We're gonna go about that as usual. We're gonna do it in our NAS. We like to do that since we have a powerful device that we can use for a lot of things. So let's go into our Synology NAS, and then we're gonna set this up. Alright, so in our NAS, as usual, we're gonna go into our Docker folder, and we're gonna go into the containers folder here. That's where we are gonna store all of our data. In there, we're gonna create a folder named SearXNG, and that's for the container SearXNG. And then we're going to create two folders. One is the config folder, and another one is the data folder, because that's what the documentation says that we need to have for the container. I just want to highlight, I have tried to enable cache to use the data folder, but for some reason I haven't been able to figure that out. So create it in case it works out for you, but at least with the documentation that I have read, I have not been able to get the cache working. That's what that's supposed to be for. And then the config directory, I've already ran the containers, that's why you see this. It's going to create a settings YAML file in here, and that's what holds the configuration. We're going to look at that also so that you can see things that you can do there. Actually, let me just delete it so that it recreates it. And so there's nothing in config and there's nothing in data here. This is something that I'm going to also show you later. That's an image that I put there. That's the logo of my channel. The thumbs, we don't need this. We can delete that also. So that's what you should have. You should have a config folder, a data folder, and in my case, I also have an image that I'm going to use to change the look of the application. And then for the projects, we're going to go and create another folder for SearXNG here. That's where our Docker Compose file is going to live. So that's all that we need to do when it comes to the folder structure. Now, we can go here into the projects in Container Manager and create a new project here for SearXNG. And then we can look for the path that we just created here in the projects for this. And then we say we're going to create a Docker Compose file. I already have a Docker Compose file that works for my system, so I'm going to paste that in there, and I'm going to not start the project so that we can see it on a bigger screen and we can discuss what it has. So when we come here, we see that the application is just going to be one container, which is the SearXNG application, and we're going to be using the latest image from their official repository in Docker Hub, which is SearXNG latest. And then I'm going to name this container SearXNG so that I can easily recognize it in my user interface. I'm going to assign it the user 1026-100, which is the first administrator that you create on your NAS device. If you're using another user, you need to figure out what these values are by logging into the NAS as that user and then running the ID command. And I'm going to set my time zone to America, New York, because that's the one that is the appropriate for me. Here in the volumes, remember that the left side is the NAS and then the right side is the container. So that means that for the etc SearXNG directory in the container, we're going to store all of that in the SearXNG config directory that we created before. And that's why I put this path here. And then for the cache, we use the data folder that I mentioned before. Now, this is commented right now. I'll come back to this later, but this is basically telling the application, hey, you know that logo that I put in there? Replace your logo with this one, but we're going to start without it and then we're going to make the change so you see the difference. This is just a cool way to customize the application. And then the container listens on port 8080. Again, the left is the NAS and the right is the container. And then the NAS is going to expose this application on port 8081. That's it. And then we're going to restart the container unless we manually come and stop this container or clean the project, right? So that's all that we need here for the Docker Compose file. So we should be able to now save this and build it. And then in my case, it's going to be pretty fast because I already downloaded the image, but you get an exit code 0, means that everything went good. A notification here that tells you that everything is going well. And if we go into the containers and we go into the logs, we see that it is running. It's done doing whatever it needs to do. It's listening on the port that it's supposed to listen to, and everything is looking pretty good here. So we should be able to go into the IP of our NAS, and then we should be able to access the application on port 8081. So we go to the IP of the NAS, port 8081, we reload, and here we go. Straightforward. It looks like the Google homepage, but it says SearXNG. And as you see, this is a logo that it is using for that. So the application is straight up working. It by default, it has a few of the backend search engines enabled, so it will work. So let's say, for example, I want to search about F5 networks. So then the first query that I ever make is going to be a little slow. So don't feel surprised about that. Give it time. It's going to start connecting to things and make sure that everything is working. But then once you get that query completed, then it's going to be a lot faster whenever you query for anything in the future. So just letting you know, because that was my first impression when I set this up the first time. Why is it taking so long? It's just how it works. So just be patient, let it search, and here we go. We got our results. As you can see, it looks very, very similar to what you would get from Google or Bing or something like that. But the thing that I really love about this is that all of these results are coming from a bunch of different places, including, for example, Google, Bing, etc. So you're basically like searching in Google, but without exposing your information, keeping your privacy, and having the control over it. So straight up, it works. We can go back. And now, before I go into the application and configuring stuff, I want to show you what happens if you pass it a logo to the application. And also, I want to cover a little bit of some things you can tweak in the configuration file to make some changes also here. For example, it says SearXNG here. You can change that too. So let's do that really quickly. Let's go back into the NAS. Let's go into this project, and then let's clean it up so it deletes the container. But it keeps all our stuff here because, like I said, we're putting all the stuff here. So the config file was created. Everything is good. All right, let's open that config file with Notepad, and then let's look at a few things. But first, I want to uncomment this. So I'm going to tell it, instead of using that SearXNG logo, use this logo that I'm passing here that I stored in the NAS here. So that's what it's going to be using for the logo of the search engine. So now let's go into the settings file and see what we have there. This is the configuration file, the settings YAML. And the first thing that you'll notice here, the instance name says search engine. So let's change this to something like Tech by Tips search. And then that should change this value that we see on the tab here. Let's save this. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do here. Honestly, I'm not going to touch a lot of things. I just wanted you to see that you can come in here and make changes. For example, if you make this a public facing search engine, you also have the option to, for example, put a donation URL that you can put here and all of that. So they have documentation regarding all of the things that you have here. So you can basically look at all the different values there and, you know, see what you can do with this. But I just wanted to show you how to change the name of that. And the logo is changed by putting this mapping here of the image to the other image. And then now we can restart this application. So we can save this and build. And it's going to trigger a new container with the proper mapping and the changes. So let's refresh this and see how it behaves. Boom! You see this? The logo changed to my logo. And in here, it changed to what I put in the settings file. That's how it says Tech by Tips search. And that's it. If you just want to get something working that works pretty well, this should be enough for you. But I'm going to go into details into other things that you can do in here. So if you go into the preferences here, you have the configuration for the application. So the general configuration gives you things, for example, like which language you want to use to search. You want to turn autocomplete, which one you want to use. There's a bunch of options here. If you want to resolve favicon, right now it doesn't have anything. If you want to enable safe search, you can say that. You can, you know, put it on moderate, on strict. I'm going to leave it on none. I don't want anything filtered in my case, but in your case, it could be maybe, you know, this is a search engine for kids and you want it to be strict. And basically other things that you can set up here, like basic calculator and stuff like that. So if you make any change here, make sure you save it. Then let's go back. If you see, this is for the general searches. You have basically different options for the different categories that are defaulted when you show the application. So you can say here which categories are going to be your defaults also, so you can pick that up. Now, if we go into the user interface here, we can select the language. You can select the theme. In my case, I like the dark theme, so that's why I have that selected. It only has a simple theme right now, so that's the only option that you have. You can have everything aligned to the center if you prefer, or you can show results in tabs if you want. I have the infinite scroll because I prefer that. I would just rather keep on scrolling and seeing new results. And you can also search by category. So those are things that you can pick up here. How you format the URL and all of that. You make any changes, you save it. Now for privacy, here you can select if you want the HTTP method to be a post or a get. I'm going to leave it as a post. That's fine with me. And you also have options here with removing the tracker URL for stuff and showing the query in the page and using image proxies. Then for the engines, here's where the nice things really happen. So in my case, I have already selected all of them. So that's why you see everything is toggled. But here you can say if you want to use a search engine or not. You just toggle this on or off. And you can do it for any kind of search. This is general. If you go into images, you also have another list and you can toggle what you want. I have toggled everything on in my case, but here's where you would come and select which backends you want to use for the searches that you perform. Then for special queries, there's some options here that you have. I honestly didn't touch any of this, so that's up to you. You can read up on it, but honestly, it's not needed to touch in my opinion. And then for cookies, also, there's nothing really to do here. The main configurations you do is in the engines, the privacy, the user interface, and the general. And once you save all those things, you know, you go back to the search engine and you can use it. And we can validate now. So let's look for, I don't know, let's say another company like OpenAI. In my case, it's also slow because I have enabled all of the search engines, right? So it has to query every single search engine that I have there. If you want it to be faster, you just disable all search engines, and then it's going to respond faster because it doesn't have to ask for things from a bunch of different places, right? So that's another thing that is important to highlight. The more search engines that you have selected, the slower it's gonna be to return you the results, because it has to ask to a bunch of places for the results that you're gonna see. But again, like what I was saying, we can keep on scrolling down because I said that I wanted the infinite scroll. So instead of having pages where I click to the next page, I just keep on scrolling. And if you notice here, I even got stuff in Chinese because I have enabled Baidu, which is a search engine in China. So just wanted to let you know things you can do here. You can see images like with other search engines. You can look for maps, and basically it's basically like having all of those search engines in one place, but one place that you control, that they don't get to see your private information, and it enhances your privacy, and also doesn't expose you to like bunch of garbage ads and stuff like that. So this is very good for that case. Now you will be saying, well, yeah, but if I'm running this application like this, won't they know it's me? Because even though they might have some things to obfuscate the data, they still see that the queries come from my IP. And then you would be right. That would be like the only way that they would have to kind of map it to you, but they won't have like a real profile. But even that you can bypass. If you go into my videos in the channel, you can look at Gluton. Gluton allows you to run a VPN, and then you select containers that you want to run through the VPN. So you can put search engine behind Gluton, which is connected to a VPN somewhere else, and then when SearXNG does the result, the queries that come out of SearXNG appear to come from another IP, and then you have absolute privacy because then they won't be able to track you by your IP. So I think it's a good way to get the full benefits of privacy. I believe there's also ways that you can connect directly in the application to like a proxy server or the Tor network, but that is more complex things. I kind of was looking for details and I couldn't really find a very good detailed explanation of how to get that going. So in that case, I would suggest you come here to the documents and try to read it carefully. But the important thing is, here's a search engine, you own it, there's no logs that any company can use. They try to minimize your profile so that all those companies like Google, they cannot track you. And if you put it behind a VPN, even better. So yeah, this is a short video. I think this is a very good application to have, especially in the times where we're living, where the governments are being very, very pro violating people's rights. And privacy is an important human right. So I think you should have something like this. So if you like this application and you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, click the bell so you don't miss any uploads from the channel, and leave me comments in the comment section below because I create a lot of my videos based on your requests. And additionally, when you're having issues, if I can help you out, I'll provide you pointers on how to solve your problems. So never forget to send me comments in the comment section. And you should have noticed that there was no ad on my video. That is on purpose because I'm not monetizing the channel. But that also means that if I go through the effort of posting a video, I get zero money, zero return from it. So if you like the content and you want to support me, there's going to be a link in the description below to PayPal where you can donate. I shout out to the donors of the channel on the next video after I get a donation. And you also have a Bitcoin wallet address if you prefer to do it that way. So that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.